Okay, so that says on air, that says live. Waiting on webcam to render. And of course, it just craps out as soon as I hit live. Brilliant. Alright, turn that off, turn it on again. There's that beautiful mug. How's it going, everybody? So, this is part 3 of the Supreme Grind. There is about 14 hours left till the cutoff, and still going strong. So, again, tonight is just going to be a super chill, laid-back evening, just putting up more numbers, punching dudes until they don't get up anymore, and chewing the fat. So, hello. I've been looking at the previous cutoff. Previous cutoff was low 60s, and it just depends on where you go. Some places said 64, others were 61. I think the 150 was probably somewhere in the 60 point something range, because that 61 was like rank 120, I think. And from the usual sources, between Crafty Grind and BG for arena predictions, everybody's saying that she's going to go even lower still, so, which is good. Currently, I'm about 45. Probably looking to put up another 10 mil somewhere along the way, and then probably put up another round or two in the morning just to bookend it. And then I'm going to be posting a video about noon, 1 o'clock tomorrow my time with arena results, and, you know, fingers crossed. But like I was saying the other day, she looks like she's an awful lot of fun to play with the utility to boot. And I like all those things. So, fingers crossed. Fortunately, my 6 stars are, most of my 6 stars are back online right now, which is great. By getting them all, you know, running through the entire crew here, they should be refreshed again for tomorrow morning to put up another round of 6-star points, which is fantastic. Because those obviously are the heavy hitters, and those go a long way. Hey, cheers. I got my fingers crossed. But we'll see. I'm just really hoping that she winds up going for either lower or on par with what she did first round, as is usually the case. But, you know, it's always a good idea to put up extra points too, just in case everybody else does the same thing. Ouch. Ouch. I'm probably gonna wind up somewhere in the low 60 mil range. She went for about, speculating, about 60 point something. The lowest number I saw was 61 point something for rank 122, I believe it was. And that was through Trucos. But Arena Results Night on Reddit has it at about 64 mil. But I think that was rank 100 and something, so I'm going ballpark somewhere in there. Probably put up a couple more just to be on the safe side, but low 60s. Which means that's about 15 mil left on my part. But between what I'm putting up right now and then when the 6 stars refresh again in the morning, that should get me pretty close. But we'll see. My Oracle, like I said, usually has been crafty grinding here on YouTube. He's usually pretty fair, pretty consistent. You know, except for the odd outlier like Terrax, because who would have ever expected a champ like Terrax to go for as high as he did? Yeah, I really hope so too. She's a really fun champ, but I think just based on, you know, the given situation here and with everybody kind of stuck at home, you know, it gives people a chance to put up more points than I think they would otherwise, and that seems to be driving up the score a little bit, so hopefully not. Hopefully a lot of people have gotten really lucky in the crystals, and then the early release for Storm X wound up pulling their Supremes that away, making it a little bit easier on everybody else. Cheers! Baby Champ 33, I will keep my eyes peeled for you. Good luck. You shooting for about the same thing? Or where are you trying to land? Ballpark. And also, did you wind up going for her first round for the Awakening? Everybody's got their own, you know, secret to success. Some people prefer grinding second arenas, even though you got to put up a couple more points sometimes than first round. Other people prefer just getting it out of the way from the word go. It's always interesting to hear other people's opinions, how they approach it, and you know, their strategy. Because everybody's got their own thing, doing things their own way. Yeah. Yeah, it sounds good. Again, best of luck. Best of luck. But I'm excited. I'm excited. She's been a lot of fun to play as a 4-star, as like a rank 1 or 2, whatever I have her at right now. But as a 5, that'll be a lot of fun to play. Kind of hope they keep expanding the prize pool for 5 stars now that more people are getting 5 stars and can compete at a higher level for that arena. So I think, you know, being able to get these characters into more people's hands only would, you know, benefit the game and benefit the company in the long run, at least. Let's see, this is going to be painful, but you know, they can always come back and say that they buffed rewards, what was it, a year and a half ago, and it's too soon to buff them again. Some nonsense. Hope springs eternal, though. Come on, Colossus. Thank you. Good luck. Good luck. It's still totally doable. It's easily doable, I should say. I will admit there have been times where I've been about 50 mil the morning of, with like a couple hours left before cutoff, and I'm just scrambling to refresh everything and just sweating bullets, and that hour and a half between the end of the arena and initial posting is just so stressful. So it's always a good idea to use the time that you got beforehand. So learn that the hard way. Oh no. Oh no, that's awful. I'm sorry. Yeah, and you got that knot in the pit of your stomach for a good while after that. I'll tell you, this game is fantastic in that regard, in that there are super high highs, but the lows are they just stay with you. Because I've been playing for like 4.5 years, right? And I can still tell you how I felt when I missed the original Joe Fixit arena by, what, 1 round of champs? I was like 155, I think. And that was for a 4-star Joe Fixit, which, you know, in retrospect, maybe I did myself a favor. But at the time, and that was, you know, before I was able to do arena or infinite streaks and whatnot, that hurts. That hurts. But this time, bit of payback. You got this. Got the good karma coming back your way. Yeah, oh, plenty of time. Plenty of time. Yeah, I mean, especially if you got suicides turned on, or if you've got the 20 or 30% health attack boosts to burn. Yeah, you can just put up points super easy. Yeah, maintenance messed me up last night too. It was like 6 o'clock my time, right? So I was like, oh, I'm gonna get ready for the live stream. So I got the graphic ready, it was all set up, plunked down like 7:45, and then, you know, turn the game on. Got that annoying yellow bar at the bottom. I was like, oh, that's right. There's maintenance tonight. Which I would prefer, you know, scheduled maintenance as opposed to just random, you know, emergency maintenance nonsense. And if it keeps the game going, then I'll be okay. I will say this about the 6-star roster. It's really nice, like where the game's at currently with 6 stars. Like for me, it's like my happy place sweet spot, because, you know, you get plenty of points for playing them, so it's still worthwhile to use everybody, but at the same time you get to use everybody, you know. So I'm using champs that I would never get to play otherwise. You know, I get to dust off my Civil Warriors and my Gambits. Carnage would be on the bench otherwise. I get to play these champs that I haven't gotten to play since they were available as 4 stars, you know? Just to reacquaint myself with their kit and how they handle and some of their abilities, stuff that I'd forgotten about. But, you know, as time goes on, you get more and more and more champs. You can only rank up so many, and then it's going to wind up being like my 4-star roster where 80% of the champs just I don't ever touch anymore. So, but for now, it's really nice. Yeah, amen to that. Hey, how's it going, Anthony? How you doing? I forget which champ it was. It was a while ago, but it was a new champ. It may have been, wasn't it Aegon? That would have been too amazing. But like, as soon as the champ was released into the game, they sent out an email to everybody with a free 2-star version of that champ, Morningstar, somebody like that. So everybody at the same time got their hands on a 2-star version of the new champ. You know, and that was right as arenas were starting up. So everybody could play the new champ as a 2-star. You could awaken them, you could put, you know, the 2-star sig stones into them, you know, play around with either the 2-star arena or some of the, you know, the normal mode for monthly quests, something like that, just to get a feel for the champ, how they play, their, you know, 1 or 2 synergies that they're allotted. And get a feel for the champ, to get people excited, to see how they feel, how they handle, you know. And I really wish they would do something like that again, because no one's going to change any meta anytime soon with a 2-star version of a champ, but, you know, that way everybody gets to play them. Which, you know, should be the point, right? Hopefully someday again. That'd be nice. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, good luck, Anthony. Are you going for the 5-star? Are you going for milestones or the 3 or 4? And I definitely agree. The once you get into a rut, you know, with the highs and the lows, like you can go months and months and months without pulling anything good, and then have like a few weeks or, you know, a month and change of really good pulls, and then go back into a rut again, and that can definitely drag. That definitely can drag. But I mean, you know, that's true of every aspect of the game here, you know, between just not getting, you know, useful champs out of crystals, or, you know, you just wind up getting beaten down with the slog of Alliance Quest or Alliance War, you know, and it's just, when the game starts to feel like a chore, then it's fun to either just find something different to enjoy about the game, or, you know, put it down for a day, a couple days, week, whatever it is, and then come back to it. Oh, perfect. Good luck. But I will, yeah. And the arenas are fun to get it's like get a feel for, you know, playing against another player character, because you got to worry about the same constraints, you know. You know, is my champ about to get parried? You know, do they have suicides on? Do I need to worry about, you know, Mystic Dispersion or willpower? It's a really good prepper for Alliance War. So especially with some of the champs that really benefit from some of those unique player interactions, like your Mystics or your heal champs, Elsa Bloodstone if she has deep wounds on, or a double edge, I mean. Yeah. It'll be interesting to see what Kabam winds up doing with the game the rest of the year, and then going forward. Just with like the huge like chasm and collection of characters that they have in the game now. It's like 150 odd some unique characters, unique playstyles and setups. So it's fun, like, to see what they do with variant, right? Where they encourage you to use different champs from your roster at different rarities. just to keep it, you know, fresh and exciting again. But it can be really tough to, not tough, but uncommon to sort of break out of your, okay, this is my questing team, this is my Alliance War team, my Alliance Quest team, and this is like my A team, right? You might have an A team, you might, you know, have a second string team, but then everybody else is just perpetually a bench warmer. And as they keep coming out with champs, you know, it isn't every day that a new champ would replace somebody on your roster, right? So you keep having these new champs come through the ranks, and it's just like, oh hey, that's cool, and then they just wind up collecting dust on the bench. So like I would have to say, like, if it wasn't for the ridiculous amount of times that I had to fight Mole Man for the Mole Man quests last month, Mole Man definitely would be one of the champs that I think would just be forgotten by the wayside. Not because he's a bad champ, he's got a unique kit, but, you know, he doesn't have the hype behind his name or a unique enough playstyle to really, you know, have him stand out from the Agons and Nick Furies and the Elsa Bloodstones and Stealthies and Blades and, you know, on and on and on and on. Yeah, well, we don't talk about Variant 1. I'll give him a pass. It was the first one. It was a learning experience. And I wouldn't complain if they someday go back and retcon the difficulty like they have with some of the story quests. You know, and send out another wave of rewards to everybody who's already finished it. But that was not fun. Maybe someday when I've got, you know, when I'm not interested in the week's champs, or I'm already done with the monthly quest or something, I should go back, play through Variant 1 again with my 2020 roster, see if it feels the same. Because that came out right as 6 stars were starting to show up in game. Like, most people didn't have them, I didn't have them. So I did all of it with 5 stars. But same with the Act 6.1. So, you know, it could be interesting to go back and just relive the absolute travesty that it was originally. But I'm glad that they learned from their mistakes. Variant 2 was much better, and then 3 and 4 were absolutely exceptional, with the exception of the last quest of Variant 4, and that was just pure Variant 1 nonsense. Like, you shouldn't be required to still have a champ you got from like week 1 of you playing the game, so you can finish like high-end quality content, you know. And then further, the company shouldn't charge you an arm and a leg for a small chance to pull a 2-star champion, you know. But I just don't like when there's only one option for like a quest or a boss, where it's do or die. If you don't have this one champ, it's just going to be a stonewall. And for the most part, for the most recent Act 6 content, that was the case. There were several options you could use, which was really nice, aside from just, you know, throwing revives and pots at it. But there were still a good few bosses in Act 6 where if you didn't have the champ, you were in for a heck of a time. Like the Medusa boss, for instance. she's a piece of cake if you've got a Symbiote Supreme, but if you don't have a Symbiote Supreme, she's an absolute nightmare. Then the second best option is a Killmonger, and that's how I did it. But Killmonger was such a pain in the tuchus to use too. Be on the lookout. I've got a video of that coming out here in the next couple days. My strats and approach, and if you haven't done it yet, kind of what you need to do or what you can expect. Excuse me. Yeah, exactly. And especially, now, however many months after the original release, and then for the that gotcha crystal that they were trying to sell. It's like, if you didn't get it right then when it came out and you're just going at it now, where are you going to find that Hulk? Like, there's no plan B, It's not like they've released new one-star champions. And that whole bit about not buffing 2-star Colossus, or 1-star or 2-star, I forget which, Colossus, when they buffed all the other versions, is just straight crock. Like, their reasoning at the time when they were leaving him be was like, well, we don't want to confuse new players with his long laundry list of a kit. But the real reason is that they didn't want to give players who had him an edge in Variant 4. Because he would have made the 2-star, 1-star, 2-star, whatever it was, map cake had they changed him like all the other rarity versions, but nope. Just another cash grab. I will say this though about the last couple chapters of Variant 4 is that it was silly, but it was also kind of relief to have like the basic potion be useful again. Like a tier 1 basic potion actually have a place in the game again. Cheers. Where like a single pot would be like a full heal, as opposed to clearing out your entire inventory just to get like 10-15% on a champ. Yeah, that's just awful. Because like even at that point, the treasure that you would have to pour into getting that 1-star character wouldn't be worth the rewards for the entire variant anymore, Which is just really, really bad game design. So then, I mean, as a player, what are you going to do? You either just spend a bunch of real world money trying to get a 1-star champ that you're never ever going to use again, with the exception of a couple fights, just so you can get good, but, not that good rewards for that kind of money. Or just ignore it outright, You get the rewards for 100% completion for the other couple chapters, and then just forget about the last section until maybe someday. It's a heck of a catch-22. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, because like nowhere else in the game can you do that now. Even with the new pots that they introduced for Alliance Quest and the other pots for Alliance War, which I'm still not happy about. That's still only like a quarter heal each, maybe 30% per pot, if you're lucky, depending. Nothing's like, okay, well, yeah, completely full heal. I don't know. I'm assuming that Kabam actually has some what, economists working for the company to actually give them a professional opinion about what would or wouldn't break the in-game economy. And I'm hoping that they do, and I'm hoping that they're going off of their advice. Because if they're not, then there's really no reason why certain aspects of the game have to be so blatantly cash grabby, you know? It's like the company makes money hand over fist. You could throw people a bone. Because, you know, if they were, as they've been saying, you know, they've got continued long-term game plans beyond the end of this year, and was it 2024 or something like that last I heard? Which is good. I love it. Most likely I'll be there. But once you get the numbers for like some of the holidays that they wind up pitching, it's just like, that's... If you get numbers like that, there shouldn't be reasons why there's like the, you know, FU mechanics. Let's do that. Yeah, that might be an idea for a video someday too. It's like if you were going to spend money on the game, what would be the best use for that? Like, how could you make $5, $10, $50 if you wanted to put up that much? Stretch as far as it could go to get the most bang for your buck. Yeah, I don't know, because like some of the unit offers that they wind up sending out for people that, you know, save up playing the game normally and naturally range from absolutely wonderful to, you know, hey, this would have been okay 2 years ago, but by modern standards, it's hot garbage. Like, they were trying to sell 20 random 6-star Sig Stones with 3 weeks back for $100. And that's just so bad. So bad. And it's such a blatant cash grab for the whales, too. Like, obviously, there are people that wound up buying it. But for the rest of us, it's just like, really? And it wasn't even like 20 generics, it was 20 random ones, so you couldn't even put them all into one champion, or your chosen champion. Well, I'm glad that didn't kill me. And then other times it's like an absolute steal. I was talking the other day about there not having been a carb core offer for a good long while for people who still need to unlock some of their masteries, and then lo and behold, today there's a real banger of an offer for 3 carb cores and was it 4 stony cores. Wind up saving you like 1,500 units off of the otherwise retail price. So if you were looking to spend, and if you didn't have those masteries unlocked already, if you are a newer-ish player, that definitely would be worth it. And I am kind of glad that they just throw stuff around all over the place. Stuff for the whales, stuff for newer players, players that have been playing for a while. Good on them. Yeah. I'm really curious to see what that Deadpool thing is going to be here in a week or 2 weeks, whatever it's going to be. If it's going to be, if that, what, Tricos reveal of a Platinum Pool is actually a thing, or if that just wound up being a April Fool's joke that they just never came out and said was an April Fool's joke. Or if they're introducing yet another Deadpool as like a 6-star this time. So you have a higher drop rate for a gold pool and a tiny chance for a platinum pool. Who has the exact same kit as the same Deadpool we've been having and playing for the last 4 years, just a different color with different synergies. Yeah, definitely. It was nice to see that they started putting Stony Cores as classic variant rewards, because that's a pretty good reward to get for fairly straightforward content. But yeah, the card cores have been practically ignored, which is freaky because at the time they used to be throwing card core offers out at you left and right all over the place. Couldn't go like 2 weeks without some new carb core offer. But then yeah, it's been a good while. They haven't done a vision offer for a while either. Because I don't remember if they did a 5-star with the 6-star one a few months back, or if it was just the 6. I mean, it was a disgusting offer, but the first rounds always are. And they usually wind up the second one a few months later is a little bit lower, and then the third one a few months after that is something a bit more manageable for those who actually would be tempted. But at this point, the character is just antiquated. Useful, but antiquated. Plus, you need to put like 120 sig stones in them to be most effective, and if you're going to do that as a 6-star, that's practically improbable. Not impossible, but very improbable. So who would do that, you know? It'd be one thing to get a vision and have an awakened vision at sig 20 or sig 40, but that's like what, 5-10% of max power per synthesis? And what does that get you? So I'm happy with my 5-star. I'm good. He's useful for the synergy still. He's, as a 5-star, you can still take him into pretty much all the content for said synergies, but they're just better power control options now. Yeah, that was disgusting. Like, I think originally wasn't the 5-star, once they first were pitching the 5-star, wasn't it about the same? Just some disgusting, ridiculous amount. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's right. And then to get him awakened, it was double that. Yeah, no thanks. For that, you could clear all of the contents in the game and then have some left over just to throw away at like calf crystals. Cheers. But, you know, again, I'm not ever going to shame somebody for their decision to spend or not to spend. Everybody's in a different situation, and some people just have that to play with. So, and most importantly, they're keeping it, you know, free to play for everybody else. And this is a really bomb game to have free to play. Let's see, we're doing pretty good. So I think I need to go back and double check, see how long it's going to be before some of my other 5 stars are refreshed and the rest of my 6s. But it might be time to go back and start hitting the main squad again. And that's where things get fun. Yeah, but it was the same bit where it's just the vanilla one out of the gate for the first offer. Oh, I'm gonna die. Right, and then the second time he was pitched, it was the same amount, but you got an awakened version, I think. That was a stupid matchup. Yeah, seriously. Yeah, I think the whales are the most flashy, especially the ones that have YouTube accounts. And some of the biggest whales aren't active anymore, which, you know, everyone's got their own reasons. But this is my own 2 cents, my own personal opinion. Like I said, I'm not ever going to shame anybody for spending or not spending. But I think it really paints an unrealistic picture. If you got somebody opening up, you know, 500 crystals the day it comes out, right? Because, like, first of all, it's completely unrealistic for most anybody to be able to, you know, float that. And then it's also equally depressing to see what they wind up pulling out of there for that investment. You know? And then on the same token, then, you know, they scroll through their account bragging about the champs that they'd gotten at the ridiculous high SIG levels that they have them at. And it's just like, you know, there's no way you could ever compete with that. You're expected to compete with that because that's just the name of the game, but, you know, you will never be able to compete with that. So it's nice now just to, you know, I think the biggest videos are like maybe 20, 30 at a time, whatever, which is cool. And then there's always the ridiculous CEO one-shots, not plugging my videos at all. And then the karma that follows getting absolutely nothing. So, hey AC, how you doing? So let's see what availability here's going to be. That's not going to be on this stream, and that's probably not going to be this stream either. So I'm going to go back into the A team. Nope, not you. And just keep going with some points. And where are you at? There you go, Fraggle Rock. Uh-oh. Well, I'm sorry to hear that. I'm doing, you know, pretty okay, all things considered. Just putting up some points in the arena for the last, was it 13 hours before it ends. Just hanging out. But I'm glad you're here. I will say this about the game too, it's no matter what else is going on, you know, in the real world, the rest of the day, whatever, it's always nice to be able to just have the chance to just plug in and just have fun, zone out for a bit. Nice to have that escape. Yeah, I mean, the cav crystals, I think, have been a double-edged sword. It's a completely different game now that they exist, you know? Like, before they existed, everybody earned 6-star shards the same way, you know, and fairly on the same pace-ish. Whales were always going to be whales and have a head start on everybody else, but for the most part, you know, everybody was sitting on maybe a couple 6-stars, up to a dozen 6-stars if you were a whale. And then the cav crystals showed up, and then there was just no limit to what you could get. And that just blew the meta wide open, you know. That was the point when 6-stars became the de facto meta of the game. Even though most everybody didn't have them, you know, for months and months and months afterwards, and still even now are still really hard to come by to get a solid roster built up. So, I mean, it was cool, and from a business perspective, I suppose it was inevitable, but still do kind of miss that pre-cav meta, you know. Okay. Well, still, chin up. The game's a roller coaster, and you can go from having high highs and low lows back to high highs again. And that's the perpetual catch of the game, is that, you know, you're always one crystal pull away from just completely breaking your game wide open. That's how it was. I mean, that's how it is with everybody. But I remember that. That's definitely how it was with me. Because my first 3 5-stars were Storm, Magic, and that was pre-buff Magic, so she may as well have been like Iron Patriot. And then a Magic Awakening. And the time it took to get enough 5-star shards for those 3 champs were 4 months, 5 months, 6 months, something crazy like that. And you just do absolutely nothing with them. You know, fortunately, they wound up buffing Magic, you know, after I had her as a 5-star for a few months. So I was, you know, fortunate, glad to, you know, have pulled that champ. But, yeah, I mean, them feels. 6-stars were the same way until I pulled a Wasp. Nice. Which 5 stars do you have? And 4s too, I suppose. Well, I mean, Vulture isn't the worst of the worst pulls that you could get. He's got some very good synergies. He's got a fun kit to play around with too. It's always a silver lining. And if nothing else, it's always arena points. So, I guess silver lining, right? Absolutely. Oh, I mean, that's a pretty solid team though. That Quake is going to take you through 99% of the content in the game by herself. She-Hulk too, with her slow ability, and Spider-Gwen being able to dance around with her evade and some of her post-buff abilities. That's a really solid 5 champs to have. That's good. I do feel like, even though Arena is still so like in your face a part of the game, it's at times it feels like it's underrated in terms of all the cool stuff you actually get out of it. You know, because everybody's always focused on the featured champ or the sub-featured champ, right? As the big, bright, shiny, you know, treasure at the end of the tunnel. But by doing Arena and getting to that point, you get so much gold and battle chips for even more gold. And that's the stuff that winds up carrying you through the game, you know? Being able to rank up the rest of your champs and your roster and your bench. You wouldn't really be able to do that otherwise without Arena. Come on. Well, I had meant to dex that. There we go. Get out of that jam. Oh yeah, okay, you're set. You're set. It's a real good place to be. Dorky Diggity Dave has a really good video, kind of like going over the basics of shake and bake, shake and quake, quake and shake, whatever you wind up calling it. I call it quake and bake, but quake and shake I guess makes a bit more sense. Like where he actually goes into the weeds about proper, like, handling of your device to be able to quake effectively. Like, this is when you press this side of the screen, this is when you press this side of the screen. It's probably a bit more in-depth than it really needs to be, but yeah, definitely check that out. Dorky Diggity Dave's Quake video. And then it's just a lot of practice too. And getting lucky. I think a good half of the battle is just getting really lucky with the AI being aggressive enough. Yeah. True that. Yeah, I will be the first to tell you that I am a scrub at this game. still, like I said, I've been playing the game that 4.5 years, and I'd like to think that I've got a leg up on some of the mechanics, but at the end of the day, you see like Metal Sonic Dude completely soloing the 6-2 champion boss at whatever Comic-Con it was, and just making it look super easy. And then there's me and my scrub self having to blow a couple revives in the last 10%. I'm like, I want to do that. So, but I think that's all just part of the fun too. And I'm still getting used to the new AI patterns with specials and how they can special counter you now. Or maybe they always could and I just didn't notice, but they definitely can now. And I think a lot of that AC just depends on who you're playing as and who you're fighting against. You know, some heavy intercepting is a lot easier to do with some champs, and some is a lot easier to do against others, you know? It just depends on how over the top their animations are. Oh, come on. Now, I still haven't figured out why that is. Maybe one of you guys know. And if you do, and if you're watching this after the fact, if you could just punch it out in the comment section, I legitimately would be really interested in knowing why Stealth Spidey, for whatever reason, isn't able to KO a Corvus at like 5% health with a special attack, even though he does more damage than what it would be like otherwise a KO with anybody else. Or if it's just like a bug, or if I'm missing something, but that's something I've noticed this whole Supreme grind cycle. Is that sometimes, yeah, he's able to KO Corvus from like 30% back with a special one, and other times, you know, Corvus has 5% health left. I fire off a special, and then he just, you know, does his usual Corvus thing as if I had just attacked with the basic attack, which is annoying. Yeah, I just recently got one myself, and then was lucky enough to awaken him naturally a couple weeks later. So I'm still trying to figure out his rotation. It should be a kill, yeah. Figure out like an optimal rotation, but maybe it's something that they'll change eventually, but I really wish that you'd be able to activate some pre-fight abilities in Arena, as opposed to just quests or alliance modes. Because especially for champs like Torch, where their entire awakened ability is like hinging on their pre-fight ability, it kind of just takes the flare out of the champ. You're trying to learn how to counter opponent Havocs, or playing as Havoc, intercepting with Havoc's heavy? That one could be pretty plausible, I think. It's an awesome champ. Excuse me. Okay. Yeah, I think it's just gauging and figuring out like how many dash backs you can be to be able to still hit the opponent without getting clipped yourself. Which may sound like a very Madden-esque obvious thing to say, but that's challenging too, because you have to account for teleporting. And I hate that the game allows teleporting in the first place, but it's definitely a consideration too. Right? Especially with some of the newer champs that have a really deep pre-fight ability. You know, Stealthy with his 3 different triggers, Supreme with her 3 different triggers, Gilly with hers, you know, Reed with his. And the more champs they keep introducing with pre-fight abilities, it just makes that issue even more apparent. Thing I think in Arena is pretty straightforward, but like in some of the whatchamacallit, story quests or monthly quests, Thing can be a real pain in the butt depending on what node he winds up on. See, I've heard that Invisible Woman is super tanky. Super tanky, it can also deal a lot of damage. I've also had my butt kicked a number of times by Sue. But I would say that she's probably close to the top of my wish list to actually properly learn her kit and her rotation. Just to kind of figure that out for myself, you know? Maybe it'd be something I should do myself, but I'd love to see someone go through content with a full Fantastic Four team and maybe Doom or Surfer or Heimdall for kicks, you know? Because outside of like when Reed was initially released and people were just testing out what they could actually all do together, I can't say I've ever seen somebody take the full Fantastic Four into like any content. Especially now that people realize that Torch is actually useful, and you know, Sue is actually useful. Yeah, because the vulnerables, that like what, that nixes, what increases block penetration or reduces armor or shields or something, right? Easter is pretty good. I mean, we were all indoors, but we still had fun. We were all together, which was nice. How about you? What'd you do? I think Surfer would probably be up there too. Because having played around with Fraggle Rock and Phoenix, I definitely disagree with all of the hate that they get. Like, they aren't Aegon, they aren't Corvus, but they're still mighty useful. And Fraggle Rock is pretty beastly too, so it'll be fun to see what Surfer can actually do, aside from being just a prestige monster. It's gonna be really fun to see kind of just how everybody bounces back once, you know, everybody can get out and about again. You know, with everybody having a greater appreciation for being able to move about and be with other people too, you know. Shoot. Like that. Why didn't that kill Corvus? That was a special attack, and he had no health left. All right. Cheers. I think so. I think so. Crystal openings, no matter what they are always fun. And especially if you're thinking of doing one yourself, you know, if you get on and preface it with a bit of audio with, you know, who you're hoping for, who you're hoping you don't pull. That's always fun to kind of just like build anticipation a little bit. But yeah, you can't go wrong with 5 stars still. Excuse me. You could always try opening them the shoe shine method too, which is a completely made up thing that I just invented like yesterday just for the lulz. Cool. Well, I look forward to checking that out. I think it was Seaton who did a video for Kicks taking Vulture out for a spin. Kind of see what he can do nowadays with the new synergies and new node interactions. I remember seeing it. I don't think I tuned in, but I remember seeing it was posted. Oh, well, the shoe shine method works 60% of the time, every time. Where it's just basically you open up a couple of, you know, premiums or Grandmaster crystals or something like that, some low tier stuff to get the bad luck out of the way. And then by getting the bad luck out of the way, then that means that you have good luck for whatever you're trying to pull. It's 100% lab tested, guaranteed to sometimes work. So the way I would wind up spinning it is that, yeah, it worked wonders for me when I was doing my 6-4 opening, and worked great when I pulled the clairvoyance out of a crystal. But I'm just gonna ignore the fact that I got shafted when I went for the Storm X pre-crystals. That's why I say, you know, it's 100% guaranteed to work sometimes. Just to have some fun with it. No, that's true though. Like I kind of am thinking about doing a video just for kicks, just for laughs. Kind of like when I think it was Seaton talks about his Kabam Mike rig ray, right? Like there's no method to it. Like the pet method is just all superstitious silliness, right? But yeah, but you got people that swear by it. So I mean, you read into it what you want. You're gonna wind up pulling what you wind up pulling anyway. It's always nice to just put that little extra shoe shine on top of it too, you know? Really spiff it up a bit. Because then there's like the other videos too, if you're team spin or team pop, but you wind up getting the same stuff either way. Sometimes you got the good opening, sometimes you don't. True story. I picked catalysts. Oh, spin, yeah. If it's the tier 5 catalysts, yeah. Tier 4, when I open those up, I just pop them. Because for me, I don't know. Starting to get into the super superstitious bits now, but I always feel like it's more exciting to spin it out. You always get teased with whatever's in the reel of whatever's potentially on its way. I'm still convinced that whatever you see in the reel isn't ever going to be what you wind up pulling. That they just put stuff in the reel to get you excited and then give you something completely different. But, you know, if you wind up taking, 2, 3 weeks, 4 weeks to save up for a single crystal, I kind of want to, stretch out the excitement just a little bit longer. As opposed to just like, cool, I finally have it, pop, and there you go, Oh, yeah, definitely. Yeah, catalyst for sure. Because I was running into the problem where, like the 3 stars, 2s and 3s, and even some of the 4s were just forced to collect dust on the bench because I just didn't have, tier 1 alphas to give them. So it's nice now to actually be a bit flush with some of that and clear off the level up bunch. But I'm still a sucker for level up events, so wind up being able to take up like 1.5, 3 stars for a level up event and then just wait till the next one to get the extra rewards. Yeah. Or sometimes when I go into a crystal pull, it's like, all right, well, like just say it was a cav, I'm like, all right, well, which 3-star am I gonna wind up getting? And then I guess which 3-star I'm gonna get. That way, if I actually do wind up pulling a 3-star, I'm like, ah, well, close. Or if I pull the 3-star I called out, then it's even more exciting because I'm like, yeah, I called it. But then anytime you get something that isn't a 3-star, it's even more exciting because then you already set your expectations so low that anything on top of that is just a nice plus. Which I'm sure probably isn't the most healthy way to approach the game, but it's worked for me so far. Alright, so we got the Fury on me. He's got that, he's got that. Cool. So we are moving right along. Just hit 51 mil. Excuse me a minute. Moving right along. Although it would be nice to get, like when you are arena grinding and refreshing the same team, it would kind of be nice to get different teams. So you aren't still fighting the same Aegon and Corvus and Warlock constantly. Like 2, maybe 3 milestones into the green event. Like I want to see what I can just do naturally before like doubling down and just going for objectives. But I think I still have a couple days. Like at first I thought it was just a fluke, right? Like they just set it to like auto-populate and then just forgot about it. So at first I was like, I'm just not gonna bother because they're gonna take it away before I can, get to the first couple milestones. But then, it's actually a thing, so I will wind up getting all the milestones. I just haven't gone gangbusters for it yet. Very nice. I think they probably could have pared down the green crystal just a little bit. Maybe just focus on, champs that are green or their uniforms are completely green, as opposed to like, hey, the button on their lapel is green, so they count as a green champ. Maybe pare it down from 20 champs to 10. But it's a free something, so I can't complain too much. I forget, is it a... No, it's a guaranteed 4-star, right? Yeah. Who are you looking for? Because I'm trying to remember, it was the actual green quest itself that let you pull one of those, not ultimate crystals, but one of those where you have like a 20% chance to pull a 5-star. And I think just the regular green milestones have a 4-star crystal. I think. Oh yeah. Yeah, he definitely would be solid. Doc Ock's pretty underrated, I think, actually, in terms of his viability. Because he can do a lot of cool things between added damage and power lock and all that jazz. But he's just another one of those cool champs that kind of just get swept under the rug a little bit because his first name isn't, you know, Ghost or Warlock. Yeah, I wind up spending a little bit of time looking at his kit. I mean, I do, I should say. Because that's the thing, because, like, I will say that about his kit is that it's really finicky. And that sometimes you just have to eat a couple of hits to get the optimal buff for research. And it kind of throws a wrench into a smooth playstyle. Down goes Aegon. So, moving right along. I don't think this round's gonna put me at 52. It might be the next one, but I know I'm getting close. Interesting. Maybe I just always misread Corvus, that it would be a crit special that can just kill him outright as opposed to just being hit by a special. It's gonna keep me awake at night. So, okay, so this one's gonna hit 52. Somewhere around 60 at the end of the day. I've got my rank 5s, they're gonna be refreshed in maybe like an hour and a half, and then I've got a couple other 6 stars that are gonna be refreshed later on tonight. So I'm gonna be doing those later. And then most of my 6 stars will have refreshed before arena ends. So I should be able to get pretty close to that. But based off of what a lot of people are saying, just in terms of whether they're going for her or not, and then based on old arena trends, she's probably going to go somewhere in that neighborhood. So with all of that, that's still coming down the pipes. Like I said, I should get pretty close. And then maybe do just a wee bit more just for padding. Yeah. Guilty. Oh, what? I can just punch him. Yeah. Because fortunately, I mean, 60 mil is still pretty chunky for arena cutoffs, but cheers. But it's not the 110 mil that you had to put up for Dr. Doom either, so. Excuse me. And I ain't ever putting up 110 mil points for anybody. ever again. That was so unpleasant. Glad I got him. That was so unpleasant. Oh, well, I appreciate it. Thank you. Despite my Yankee Cavalier attitude. Yeah, Spidey is amazing. I was pretty apprehensive at first. Just because I didn't really know how to use him yet. And, I mean, fair warning, I still am not a stealthy master. But, you know, once you get the debuff up on your opponent, and then you go and get the fury up on yourself, yeah. Like 3 5-hit combos and a special one are enough to KO just about anybody. But then again, do take it with a grain of salt, because I do have a double edge turned on, so the numbers are a bit inflated. Is that 5%? Okay, cool. So, getting there. I'm gonna guess probably when it's all said and done, I'm probably gonna wind up at a win streak about 400, maybe low 400s. It's not bad. Especially with as much refreshing as I'm doing. But, so, you know, some arena grinders, the real hardcore ones, you know, you get a win streak up into 700s and 800s, and that's just them going through their entire roster. You know, bringing in their rank 3 4 stars paired up with like a rank 2, rank 3 5 star, something like that, right? But I don't know how they have the time for that. Because to do that, you would have to do literally nothing but grinding arena practically every waking minute for the entire 3 days that it's up. You know, give enough time to sleep a little bit and eat a little something, stretch your legs maybe. But nah, no thanks. No, don't apologize. I am still pretty fresh too myself, but crystal openings are always a big plus. Especially if you want to wind up spinning that off into doing like some gameplay stuff, or if you've got, you know, if you want to make a couple of joke videos or strats or just have fun, the crystal openings are a good segue into that. Kind of let people know that, hey, you're here. Plus, it's always fun as a viewer to just live vicariously through, you know, whoever the video is. Get to ride along with all the highs and lows that come with the fun and interactive content. I didn't see what. I'm going to need to try and remember once I'm done with this set to go back in and see what the arena is called. That didn't look familiar. I mean, obviously I'm in the right arena. I'm fighting 6 stars, but the name just looked silly. Might just be one of those things that, you know, once you see a word and you've seen a word so many times, and you just accept it, but you never really looked at it close, and then one day randomly you just look at it and it just looks so odd. Excuse me. Yeah. Yeah. Definitely. That's always fun too, especially for something like that, where you get to, you know, just pick up, get a highlight reel for like, okay, well now I'm doing, you know, finishing up Act 2, now I'm finishing up Act 3, now I'm, you know, ranking up a bunch of champs I'm gonna take in for a strategy against Collector. Hey, this is my first attempt at Collector. Got it. And then, you know, capstone with, you know, hey, these are the end of chapter rewards, and let's go open up some fresh new Cav crystals, something like that. Yeah, that would be a lot of fun. I'd watch it. Okay, so this is the, okay, it is. I saw a W in there somehow, and I'm like, that doesn't sound familiar. But Kamar Taj, sure. Why not? Well, guys, I'm gonna say that I'm probably gonna call it after this this series here. Go stretch my legs for a little bit. But for all you guys who are grinding champions or grinding milestones for this or any upcoming arenas, I wish you the best of luck. Hope you wind up getting who you want to get and landing in the bracket you want to wind up in. I'm going to be putting up some more points, but this is the last stream I'm doing before results are out. And I got my fingers crossed. So, we'll see. Why did I bring Ghost to a Corvus fight? I just realized that. Why did I do that? Yeah, I'll check you out afterwards. Yeah, cheers. Got my eyes peeled for you too. Hope we both get to enjoy some new Supreme gameplay here in about probably about 14, 15 hours time. Get that new shiny new trophy on the bench. Or on the squad, not the bench. Alright, yeah, I'm gonna call it right there. That's 53 mil. Probably put up another 7, 8, something like that. Once some of my other champs refresh. Awesome. There we go, guys. Thanks for watching. Again, wish you guys the best of luck for your arena endeavors. Be sure to like and subscribe, new channel. All that stuff helps me out as I'm building up my own portfolio of videos. And we'll catch you in the next video. Next arena is Morningstar, so I'm going to be going for just 1 to 10% and just hit milestones. But I plan on being back here, if not tomorrow, then the day after. So be on the lookout for that. Get to hang out, chew the fat a bit, and play some Contest of Champions. All right, guys. Have a good day. Have a good night, wherever you're at. Take care. Talk soon. Stay safe. Be well, everybody. Bye for now.